New video on SAPP coding. Today, we'll be reviewing and learning about the random method on Java. So, what is random? Random allows the computer to pick a random object, and this is used in a method format. It is used mainly for integers, but can also be used for double variables, long variables, basically any number variable Java contains. And it's used for random number generators, etc. When to use it? You use the random method when it's necessary to generate random numbers. So for example, let's take the dice roll game. Pretend you want to roll a dice against the computer. It'd be boring if the computer only rolled one number every single time. That's where you use the random method. So it changes numbers every single time without you knowing. Because that's basically how a dice works too. Because you won't know what number you're going to roll. And how to use it. First, you have to import the java.util.random class into your Java file. Then you have to initialize it through random, your variable name equals new random. This is almost like the scanner video that we showed, where you have to initialize it, and this basically is the same concept. And finally, how to actually pick a number. First, you have to create a variable, and then pretend we want a number between 0 to 999. The way it will be formatted is put your variable name .nextInt, and in parentheses you put the number 1000. You put the number 1000 because it always has to be one higher than your max capacity. In this case, we want a number to be between 0 and 999. And now let's try using the random method in a demo using the Eclipse IDE. Going over the random class with scanner. In this file, we're going to create basically like a dice game. So the computer will generate a number between 1 and 6, and the player can choose its number, and we will see if the computer gets a higher or lower number than what you picked. So first we have to initialize both random and scanner. So scanner system.in. Now we need to do a similar function for random. We are not putting the system.in as it does not need to have an output in the console. So now we can create a print statement saying system.out.println, enter a number between 1 and 6. Alright, so now we're gonna make a variable called int player move, as this is going to be the player move, and put that in scanner.nextInt. So now the player has to enter a number between 1 and 6. Now we need the computer to do the same thing, but we're going to use the random function. So let's ask system.out.println, enter a number between 1 and 6. And now this is going to be the computer move. So int computer move equals rand.nextInt. And the number has to be 7 because it's only between 1 and 6. And we have to have +1 because we don't want the numbers to be between 0 and 6, but instead 1 and 6. So now the computer and players both have their turn. So now let's calculate it. So let's make an if statement. If player move is greater than computer move, system.out.println player 1. But if else, system.out.println computer 1. But if it's a tie, we have to make another if statement for that. So here, we'll be like if player move equals computer move, and say system dot out println tie, because both you and the computer enter the same one. And we have to have two double equals because this is a integer, and that's how the Java syntax works. So now we need to add a print statement to the random function so it can actually be displayed on our console, unlike the scanner class, which already has a system.in in it. So let's print out the computer move so we actually know what it is. So now let's run it. During a number between 1 and 6, I'll pick 5, and the computer picked 1. So the player won, so I won. And this is basically how you do a random function on Java, or a random method, my bad. Thank you for listening, and hope you learned how to use random.